I did not own slaves, and you were not a slave.
Correct.
Right. So we are individuals, and therefore we cannot be held accountable or should receive something from something that didn't happen to us or something we did not do. That is a basic law of justice, that I can't be held accountable for something that somebody looked like me did, and you should not benefit from something that somebody you were related to.
I've never understood the argument for reparations. I do not believe that I'm owed compensation for simply breathing. I was not enslaved, so there's no reason why I should be compensated for it. But a lot of people do. A lot of people in the Black community are very adamant that it is something that is owed and deserved and yada, yada, yada. We're going to watch in this video 3 minutes. Charlie Kirk debunks the argument of reparations, and I think you'll really enjoy it. But before we get into that, make sure that you're subscribed to us here at the Resist the Mainstream. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
Hey, my name's Blair. Just got a question for you here. How do you feel about the Black community receiving reparations?
I'm against that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why so?
Well, first of all, what is the Black community? So, for example, do you mean like recent immigrants from Haiti or Nigeria?
I do not. No.
Okay, for sure. So you're meaning like ancestral descendants of slaves.
Correct.
That
Yes,
can be proven with documentation.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So to be consistent, do you believe that other groups that have been mistreated in America should also receive reparations?
What are those other groups?
Well, they're not necessarily by America, but let's just take one. Jewish Americans, right?
Okay.
They almost got eliminated in the Holocaust. Should they receive reparations?
Not from us.
Okay, not from us.
Not from the United States, that is.
Okay. So here's
Not from us. They give me that bag, not the Jews, which is fair. It didn't happen here in America, but it's just funny. He said, no, not from us.
my view, and I want to hear yours,
Okay.
which is that I did not own slaves, and you were not a slave.
Correct.
Right. So we are individuals, and therefore we cannot be held accountable or should receive something from something that didn't happen to us or something we did not do. That is a basic law of justice, that I can't be held accountable for something that somebody looked like me did, and you should not benefit from something that somebody you were related to. Now, you'll probably say systemic racism and how that passed down to generations. Happy to address that. The problem with reparations, though, is basically what you're saying is I'm going to take money from Charlie Kirk for something he didn't do and give it to a group of something, to somebody of something they also didn't do. For what reason? How is that just?
And that's why it makes no sense to me. Also, you'll hear Black people scream from the rooftops, reparations, it's owed, we deserve it. What if you're not from a descendant, you're not a descendant of a slave? What if you're not? Like, I'm sure you haven't done the research. You're just saying Black people deserve it, and we think this is something that's going to be applied to all Black people. It's not. What was it? Less than like 20% of the population at the time when slavery was legal, even owned slaves, like 20% of the population. So that means there's a very high likelihood that you come from a descendant who was never even enslaved. And so you wouldn't get reparations. And all this tantrum, all this anger that you've been spewing out for the last however many years is misplaced because you're not going to get a dime. So it's dumb. But the point here that he made is perfect. Is like, you were never enslaved. We were never enslaved. So why? And you never enslaved anyone. But you were never a slave owner. So why would you owe me money and why would I deserve that money? It does not make sense. There's no logical reasoning for why you would find that acceptable. It's just like asking for free money for no reason, as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't make sense.
So not so much how is it just, but there are those arguments that says because of what happened in the past, this group of people have been negatively affected from this nation's crimes against humanity to that certain group of people. And that's how we see it, or how some people see it, if you will.
Okay, sure. But I will say that even if there is some truth to that, which I wouldn't even be willing to grant very much, because Black America was doing incredibly well before the not incredible. They were pacing to be even richer than white America, is that we must look through the question of, is it just and moral to take from one group, especially first and second generation immigrants that had nothing to do with this? So think about it. Your tax base would be taxing, like if anyone here is Irish or Polish and your family came 100 years ago, we would be taxing people that had nothing to do with it. And I'll go a step further. My family fought on the Union side of the Civil War, right? So you're going to be taxing Charlie Kirk, whose descendants fought to free the slaves, to go give money to people that were descended, from slaves. So what is a way that we could try to help all communities? Here's maybe we can find some common ground, right? Instead of reparations,
Sure.
Is that we need to break the cartel of public sector teacher unions, allow school choice to occur and make it easier for people of all backgrounds, but specifically Hispanic and Black individuals and young kids to have a quality education, because a good education in K through 12 is one of the most assured ways that they'll be able to succeed later in life. Secondly, we need to put fathers back in the home.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that's 70% of Black kids are raised without a stable father in this in the country. So if we can find common ground on that, I think that would go a lot further than just giving cash for people that happen to be related to something evil that happened a little while ago.
Agreed. And when you think about it, I mean, just think about all the people that like win the lottery. They get, hit the jackpot and they make all this money. And then I think it's statistically within a very short period of time, they all lose it. They lose it because they don't know how to manage the money that they've received. So that's another reason why I don't think, and he made some amazing points here with education and school choice and all those things. You didn't have to be stuck in the education system. If you're an inner city kid or you live in an area where the school system is not really prioritizing the education of the kids there, it's just kind of like, you just throw them in there. It's like there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of behavioral problems, or whatever the reason may be for this schooling not being good. They're not updated on books. Like they should be able to choose to go to a different school. Parents should be able to send that kid to a different school, and I think school choice would be a lot more beneficial because he's right. A better education is going to obviously give you a better opportunity in life. So I think that's a really good point that he made there. But getting the money, just giving free money to people that were never enslaved, so they don't deserve that. If they had given reparations at the time slavery was abolished, then I would have no issue. The people that have all experienced being enslaved, being able to be compensated for such a heinous institution of it's insane that people are actually forced to live under those conditions and be slaves. But there's no justification for just giving money to people for no reason, especially when they're not going to be they don't have the financial literacy or knowledge to be able to sustain keeping that money, growing that money, where to invest that money, how to utilize it, what to invest in. And the Black community specifically always just like waste money on buying expensive clothing, jewelry, and things because they want to look as if they are more successful and rich than they actually are, instead of investing that money into something that would actually benefit them in the long run. So yeah, reparations it's not the solution. You're not going to win anything. You're not going to go anywhere with that. And arguing and screaming that at top of the rooftops is not going to change Black culture. It's not going to make us better in the long run. I think we prioritize bettering our neighborhoods, bettering our school systems, allowing people to have that school choice, like Charlie was saying. And I think that's what's going to help the Black Americans more than anything else. Reparations is not the move. I think Charlie Kirk did an amazing job of dismantling and debunking the reparation argument, because it's immoral to tell someone that they owe you money when they did nothing wrong. In taxing people, and he made a good point about bringing new people that have come into our country that were not even descendants of anyone who was enslaved, or even descendants of anyone alive in America at that time, should not have their tax dollars spent to Black people who never experienced slavery to begin with. I don't want to hear that generational trauma nonsense. That's BS. So anyways, I really enjoyed that. I think you did a good job. And comment your thoughts down below. Let us know what you thought about Charlie Kirk debunking reparations. And make sure you're subscribed, engaging, liking, helps push this video through the algorithm. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.